So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about the best investment that you can make in 2024, and that's land. But I'm not talking about the real physical land. I'm talking about the digital stuff. So let's go home and we'll talk more about that. So if you're not familiar with this concept, it is going to blow your mind because people are spending millions of dollars buying virtual land in a virtual world to make virtual money. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how people are making money, who's selling the land in the first place, and ultimately if you should invest your hard-earned money into the metaverse. It's crazy because just a couple of days ago, my grandpa came over to visit and he was telling me how hard life was in World War II, the fact that he built his own home with his own hands and how much land he used to own. And here we are talking about spending thousands of dollars on pixels on a screen. Crazy times. Now, believe it or not, but apparently somebody spent $2.4 million buying land in the metaverse, which on the surface doesn't really make much sense. Because in the real world, what gives land or property its value is the fact that people want to live there. As the demand for an area goes up, so does the price, like New York or Toronto, for example. In the case of the metaverse, the land is infinite. Technically, there shouldn't be any cap to how much land we can create, so how does buying land in an infinite place make any financial sense at all? And that's exactly what we're going to try to figure out by the end of this video. So if you're skeptical, you're in the right place because I was just as confused as you were. But before you dismiss investing into the metaverse as a scam, I want you to know that multi-billion-dollar companies and household names like Samsung and UPS have invested into digital land. And researchers at Metaverse Analytics say that $1.93 billion worth of cryptocurrency has been spent buying digital land in just the last 12 months alone. On top of that, it feels like this record is broken every other month at this point, but the largest dollar value purchase of land in the metaverse is held by a company called Republic Realm, where they invested $4.3 million US. It's also the same company that created the ultra luxurious Metaflower, which is a massive digital yacht that someone bought for 149 Ethereum, which is around $650,000 US. These insane numbers, coupled with the fact that it's all digital, leaves a very Dogecoin-esque taste in my mouth. So in my journey to figure out if there's any actual potential in this asset class, I came across an article from Grayscale Trust, which by the way is a group of world-renowned, very wealthy investors, which said that the metaverse is a $1 trillion opportunity. That's $1 trillion a year that this industry could possibly generate. And just for context, even the largest companies in the world like Amazon and Apple make nowhere near $1 trillion a year. And the sale of land in the metaverse is meant to be a huge component of that $1 trillion. So the question is, how can something that's infinite make you any money? Well, the truth is that it's not infinite. The same way there's a limit of the amount of digital Bitcoin there are, just because something is digital doesn't mean that it's infinite. At this point, if you begin to compare digital land and physical land seems to have an advantage because it, generally speaking, has real-world applications. Physical land is something that we can use for agriculture, we can build homes on, or we can host live events. So, in other words, there's a lot of practical uses to what we can do with actual real physical land. And as we all know, the physical world is not infinite, which means that there's a finite amount of land and therefore it should all be valuable. But surprisingly, it's not all valuable. For example, if you want to buy a whole acre of land in New Mexico, which is just shy of an American football field, you can do that now for as little as $50 down. Surprisingly, in a place like Sicily, Italy, beautiful place by the way, you can buy a home for as little as €1. The point is that even in the physical world, although the amount of land is finite, not all land is valuable. So when it comes to making money in the virtual world, the strategy for now, or at least a short-term strategy, is to buy and then sell to someone who's willing to pay more for it. Which could work sometimes, but the real reason why companies are spending millions of dollars on digital land is because they're speculating that one day it'll be a place where millions of people come together. Like Central Park, for example, decades before anyone knew what Central Park would become. So they're essentially speculating that their land will become that. Also, besides flipping and holding land, you can also leverage it to make money through selling tickets for live events or even concerts. And if you're laughing thinking about the idea of a digital concert, I'll have you know that some of the largest A-list celebrities in the world have all hosted concerts on the metaverse, like Young Thug, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, and even Justin Bieber. Now, these events definitely weren't perfect, but they were better than a lot of people expected, and the rate of improvement is scary. So maybe there is some real-world application to land in the metaverse after all. But this next part is where most of the money will be generated, and that is through video games. There's a really popular video game called Axie Infinity, which has 360,000 active users all around the world. Now this game is something called play to earn, and if you're playing this game successfully, you earn something called SLP or smooth love tokens, which actually have real dollar value behind them. And listen to this because it's going to blow your mind. If you look at a country like Malawi in Southeast Africa, where the daily minimum wage is $1.83 and the monthly minimum wage is $48. But believe it or not, the average Axie Infinity player is making anywhere between $140 and $420 a month. This game is quite literally changing people's lives all around the world. And if that sounds crazy, imagine if one day this game were to go global and become as big as Minecraft or League of Legends or whatever the kids are playing these days. The people who are selling this land in the metaverse in the first place are developers, and the way these game developers are selling land is by integrating them into their games in the form of NFTs or non-fungible tokens. And if you're laughing at this stuff, believe it or not, the most expensive plot of land that was sold on the game Axie Infinity is worth upwards of $2.5 million. Now, don't get me wrong, the metaverse will definitely be a huge part of the future, just like we knew the internet was going to be a huge part of the future. What we didn't know though is what the internet will look like in the year 2023. The same way we have no idea what the metaverse will look like a couple of years down the line. So, is the metaverse really cool? Yes. Is it the future? Yes. Can it make you millions of dollars? Yes. Is it very risky? Yes. The metaverse is still very much so a skeptical investment, and there's no guarantee of what the future holds, so I would advise that everybody invests with caution. All that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I'd be really interested to hear what your thoughts are in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.